Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Nelly. So today's video is going to be addressing my heart disease. Since this is a very touchy subject for me, I am not going to edit this video all that much as I want this to be strictly educational. I just want you guys to learn more about me, and this is something that I hold very close to my heart, both literally and figuratively, because it does impact my life in very big ways. But I hope that by making this video, I can educate people and inform people of these silent killers, because that's what a heart disease is. It's a silent killer. My heart issue has impacted me in both positive and negative ways, and it's also given me a different outlook to life than most people my age. I'm just gonna kind of do it like a little story time. I'm gonna do it in that way just because I feel like it would be a little bit easier for me to explain it that way. I don't know how long this video is gonna actually be because this is a very long story. I'm gonna do my best not to cry. I don't think I will, just because I've been living with this for a very long time. But just in case I start getting choked up, this is why. Just thought I'd throw in a little disclaimer. Let's start the story time real quick. Sorry, I just had some Dutch Bros and I'm like bouncing off the walls. So we moved here to Arizona when I was about to turn 13 years old, so almost 7 years ago, which is crazy to me. For my heart disease, I have this heart disease called patent ductus arteriosus. It's super fatal.
Hey, so I'm editing this video right now and I realized that I did not explain what the actual disease is. So this is how the doctor explained it to me a few years ago. So basically when you're born, every baby is born with a hole in their heart. It's supposed to close over time. Well, mine never closed, causing a heart murmur and patent ductus arteriosus. Patent ductus arteriosus is basically where the coronary artery is shifted upwards towards my aorta and my pulmonary artery. Basically, my aorta and my pulmonary artery can squeeze my coronary artery at any given time, and that's a done deal for me. Which is why I have to go to the doctors at least once a year just to keep tabs on it and monitor it and make sure that it's not moving in the wrong direction. I will go ahead and insert a couple pictures of what a normal heart looks like and what a patent ductus arteriosus heart looks like, okay?
You can't live life scared. You kind of have to just grab life by the balls and just go for it. You know what I mean? You can't live your life scared, because if you live your life scared, what are you doing? You're not living, you're just in fear. Let's take it back to high school. So my freshman year was great. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of people, and then came my sophomore year. This is the year that kind of changed everything for me. I'm gonna move my seat up a little bit. I did lots and lots of sports in high school. So I played basketball, I did track and field, but I specifically did pole vaulting, throwing. I sprinted one year, but then I quit. Yeah. That's basically all I did. I tried high jump and I tried long jump as well. I just didn't care for them very much. I can't jump, apparently. So, I also did gymnastics.
As I had mentioned before, I'm a really big sports person, especially when it comes to sports I play. What I failed to mention, during this time, I was not allowed to play any sports at all. I had to completely stop everything. And during this time, I also did not tell any of my teammates or any of my friends really what was going on. I just told everyone that I just hurt myself and I couldn't play, because I didn't want anyone to feel as though anything was wrong with me. Since I wasn't allowed to play, I had to sit on the sidelines a lot of the time, but I am very stubborn and I decided to practice anyways. I would just sit there and shoot the ball, or shoot the ball against the wall, or lift weights if I was doing track, or for gymnastics I would just stretch. But anyways, let's get back to the video.
What I thought was a normal doctor's visit turned out to be much greater. Every year, whenever you sign up for sports, you have to go and get a sports physical done. So that's what I went and did. So my mom and I made an appointment to go see our pediatrician, because I was still a little bit underage at the time. So we went and made an appointment to go see my pediatrician. Upon arriving at the doctor's office, I don't know, it just kind of felt off. I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but it just kind of felt like an off day for me. But I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't think too much of it, because I was just like, oh, I can't wait to get this physical done so we can start basketball and just live my best life and keep playing, because I love basketball. I'm a big sports person, and basketball is one of my favorite sports in the entire world. Anyways, so we filled out the paperwork that we needed to fill out for the sports physical, and then the doctor called us into the room. And then the nurse took my vitals, my heart rate, temperature, stuff like that. You know, normal stuff when you go and get a physical and go to the doctors. Then the actual doctor walked into the room, and she came in with her little stethoscope, and nothing really crazy. We did the normal physical where they touched your body to see how things react and all of that stuff, like just normal physical stuff. Then she used her stethoscope, she took it and she put it right on my heart. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. So she took her stethoscope, she did it on my back just to hear back there, I guess. I don't know why they really do that, but they do. And then she put it on my stomach, she put it on this side, and then she put it on my heart. And then I could see as she was listening to my heart, her face just kind of like quickly started changing. Like she went from like this to like really interested, as if like she was hearing something. So I just looked at her. I didn't really like think much of it, just because like I've never really had any big health issues like that, so I didn't know. Then she's like, okay, give me a second. She walked out of the room, she came back in, and then she listened to my heart again. And then she basically told me that it sounds like I have a heart murmur. So I was like, okay, what is that? And then she explained to me what that is. And if you don't know what a heart murmur is, it's basically like an extra beat, like you can hear an extra beat in your heart. I'll try and insert a clip of what a heart murmur sounds like, just so you guys can know what I'm talking about. Anyways, she was like, yeah, you have a slight heart murmur, so I'd like to send you to the cardiologist, to a specialist, so you can get some additional testing done just to rule out anything further. So it's like, okay, no big deal. Like, my mom has a heart murmur. Like, it's not the end of the world, or so I thought. We made an appointment for the cardiologist about a week later, I want to say. I don't know when the time frame of all this was. It's kind of blurry in my mind, but we made it a cardiologist appointment about a week later at this specialist. And my cardiologist is just great. He's an amazing guy. I love him so much. Like, he's so funny. Anyways, so we made an appointment with him, and what happened was we had to sign new patient paperwork, and we also had to sign just like a bunch of like disclosure agreements and all of that stuff. So when the nurse called me and my mom in, she took us to a room. She did all of the stuff that the pediatrician does at the normal doctors, and then she said, okay, we're gonna do an EKG test. And I'm like, what the heck is an EKG test? So EKG, let me look up what that means. So an EKG, I have it up here on my phone. I'll insert a screenshot on the screen. It's an electrocardiography, and it's just like a paper recording of like the electrical signals in your heart. And it's used to determine heart rate, heart rhythm, and other stuff like regarding your heart. And I had no idea what it was. And so basically what an EKG looks like is they take these little like sticky things, and they put it on different places on your body. But they'll put like 3 right here, 3 underneath my heart, a couple on my stomach, 1 on this side, and then a couple in other different places, and they'll connect some wires and cables to it. I'll insert some footage of what an actual EKG machine looks like.
Not sure how well you can see this, but the gray cables are what they use to connect to the stickies to document the electrical signals in your heart. Alright, so this picture is pretty darn close to where they actually put the stickies on me.
And then she'll do the test. It doesn't hurt, it's not painful at all. It's actually quite, I don't know, I find it kind of relaxing, because like you just sit there and that's all you do. I had to get that done, and it was my first time getting it done, and I was kind of nervous because I've never had that test done before, which is totally understandable. Anyways, the nurse kind of had like a weird face on, and I was like, okay, like what's going on here? Like, bring me to the party, girlfriend, because I want to know. But yeah, she had a weird face on, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna let the doctor come in here. So then the doctor came in, he looked at the EKG results, he came in, he read my heart rate, he did the stethoscope on my heart, and he was basically just talking to me, asking me about my symptoms. And some of the symptoms I had was, I always had headaches and I didn't know why. I've passed out several times and I couldn't explain why. I felt dizzy a lot and I don't know why. And I just like feel sometimes generally not good and I don't know why. We had all of these symptoms without having an answer to those symptoms on why I was getting those symptoms and why I was feeling that way. So he said, okay, we're gonna run a couple tests on you and just see what happens. So he said, the first test we're gonna do is we're gonna do an ultrasound. And I'm like, I just sat there. I'm like 15 years old and I just sat there and I'm like, you think I'm pregnant? He's like, no, we're just gonna do an ultrasound on your heart just to make sure everything looks okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I was 15, I was being a little smart ass because I was nervous. So I had like no idea what was going on. But we walked into this like dark room. Like real dark, real cold. Or while the ultrasound technician was looking, she didn't really say much. So I was just sitting there and like with the cold gel on my body all over the place. And then it warmed up after time. Well, they gave me blankets and stuff, but it didn't really help. And not gonna lie, it was kind of uncomfortable and it did kind of hurt a little bit. Because I have boobs. She took pictures of my heart, which takes a while, but yeah, so that was the first time I ever got an ultrasound done. So the cardiologist came back in a little while later and basically said that there seems to be something wrong with my heart, that I'm gonna need to go in for further testing. After the first cardiologist visit, the moment I stepped outside of that office, I just broke down crying, like in front of my mom's car. I didn't know what was going on. I was scared. I felt like all hell broke loose, really. And like, you can ask my mom, I really did just start sobbing. I started sobbing. I didn't know what else to do. I felt so lost, you know? So let's try this again. Yesterday, my camera died on me while I was filming this video. And at that point, all hell just broke loose in my head. And I couldn't believe what was going on. It was really scary, not knowing like what was going on in there. You know what I mean? So basically, for the next couple of weeks, this was all in a time frame of about 2 months. So for the next 2 months, I was going in and out of the doctors, getting tests. I was getting blood work done all the time, getting IVs and stuck in me all the time to do different sorts of tests. Like, I had to go through this like one machine where they had to put some liquid in me right here on my arm, in an IV, and it would basically highlight my intestines and highlight all of the organs in my body so they could see it clearly and take x-rays of it. I'm not sure what the machine was called, but I'm gonna try and look it up and then see if I can find a picture.
Here's what the machine looked like. It's an MRI machine, and honestly the whole room and feel was kind of scary.
I was just like really miserable for weeks and months because I was going in and out of the doctors getting tested, and I was like so depressed because I thought I was gonna die. Like in all honestly, I really thought I was gonna die. So it was a really dark time for me. I was depressed. I did not want to be here anymore. If I was gonna have all these issues, I definitely didn't want to be here anymore.
What's up, you guys? So I'm in the middle of editing this video right now, and I wanted to throw in a few key details to the story that I forgot about. So during this whole time, I was so depressed that like I literally would not get off the sofa to go do anything. I would literally be crying and like sitting there miserable 24/7. Ask my family, like on God, like 24/7. I felt miserable. There were times where I didn't eat anything throughout the entire day. I would go days without eating. My hair was falling out a little bit, like not crazy, but my hair started to fall out a little bit because I was so stressed. And I even thought about like parm as an option. So yeah, when I say it was a dark time, I really mean it was a dark time for me.
But yeah, that was really hard thing to kind of handle at 15 years old. And on top of that, like I was so depressed that I wouldn't even go to school. Like I missed so much school my sophomore year because of all of this. I lost all my friends my sophomore year. I mean, the good ones did stick around, but for the majority, I like blocked everyone out. When I was at school, I went to school, no makeup, my hair wasn't done. I looked like a homeless person. Like I really wasn't doing good, just to put you in my mentality and put you in my shoes. Going and getting a bunch of tests done and not knowing what's wrong kind of makes you feel like a test subject, and it's not fun. I really, like, that was the worst depression I think I've ever been through in my entire life, and I hope I never have to do that again, and I hope no one else is ever in a place like that. If you are, please reach out. I will do whatever I can to help you. We went and we got a bunch of tests done, and keep in mind this was a couple years ago, so I don't remember all of the tests we got done, but I do know that I did get a lot of blood work done. I got, like I said, that weird highlighter IV in me, which that thing sucks so bad. It made me feel like I was peeing myself, but I actually wasn't. It's just a liquid. It makes you feel really hot, then really cold, and then it makes you feel like you pee yourself, and then it just gives you chills. Like, it was horrible. And we had to get a bunch of EKG tests done. I had to get a bunch of ultrasounds done just to figure out what this was. After all the tests were done, I went back to the cardiologist, and he basically told me, hey, you have patent ductus arteriosus. When I heard that, it was like a bomb dropped. I really didn't understand, because like he was saying it in all these doctor terms. After years of research, I finally figured out like exactly what it means, and now that I know what it means, I'm able to educate people on it. I don't know, I have to be extremely careful with everything that I do now because of it, because like right now it's in a good place to where I don't need to go to the doctors or anything like that, but that could change at any moment. Any moment that could change, and I will need to go into life-saving surgery. Honestly, if it wasn't for my family and some of my friends in high school, I would not be here today. And I mean that. Like, if it wasn't for them, I would not be here today. So I just want to say A, thank you, and B, like, never give up. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, so he basically said that I had a little bit of time to live, and then after that I surpassed that time, and he was like, well, you need to start exercising, you need to start a diet, you need to eat vegetables, you need to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, it's only gonna get worse. By this point in the video, I'm pretty sure you guys are all tired of seeing my face, but I don't really care. So what I forgot to mention was I'm not really allowed to get upset, sad, mad, pissed off, stressed out, annoyed, anything like that, because it does affect me. That's something that's coming straight from the doctors. It's not just a Nelly thing. Yeah, we'll get back to the video now, I promise. No more interruptions. Still haven't taken care of myself. I exercise sometimes. I try and eat as healthy as I can.
Girl, don't even cap. You eat Taco Bell every day, so stop saying you eat healthy, because you do not.
That's about all I want to say. Me looking back on it now, I'm 20 years old. When this happened, I was 15. I don't understand how as a 15-year-old I handled all of that. Like mentally, like I really don't understand how I handled all of that, and I handled it so maturely. I tried not to be scared when I went to the doctors, and I tried not to be depressed. It was just really hard for me, but I'm really surprised at how I was able to handle that situation. Although it might not have been the best in some people's eyes, for me, I was really, really strong in those days. And looking back at that, like being able to pull myself out of a depressive state, out of suicidal thoughts and all of that, it makes me realize that I'm much stronger than I think I am. And you guys should know that too. You're much stronger than you actually think you are. After like that 2 months in the doctor, I think that is what got my fear, like that's what activated my fear of doctors, in my opinion, and like needles and stuff. I think that's it for this story time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I was able to educate you or enlighten you in some way on my heart disease. I know it's not like the funnest video I've ever done, but I really wanted to put this out there because I want to educate. I want to use my platform to help educate people who don't know or don't understand, because there's a lot of things that I have trouble doing, but I've grown so accustomed to it already that I don't even think that I have trouble with it. Does that make sense? Anyways, but I will see you guys next week, and I love you guys so much, and yeah, don't forget to sub to my channel, okay? Bye.